is a message of what I would call like common sense, patriotic pluralism. Yeah. That is a majority message, which is like, if some father and mother have healthcare for their kid lined up who's trans, just stay the fuck out of their business.
What's happening, everybody? Bill Maher's most recent episode of Real Time with Bill Maher was a doozy. So today we've got two clips from the same show. In the first clip, we have Bill Maher and gender-ambiguous MSNBC host Chris Hayes talking about, coincidentally, gender and transitioning children. This ought to be interesting. Anyway, let's watch Bill Maher's audience gasp, some of them, when they hear Chris Hayes' mind-numbingly stupid takes. Oh, and if the video looks weird for any reason, it means that I had to do that for copyright purposes. Sorry. Let's go.
There is a message of what I would call like common sense, patriotic pluralism. Yeah. That is a majority message, which is like, if some father and mother have healthcare for their kid lined up who's trans, just stay the fuck out of their business. Like, and let them make that decision. That's their decision to make. And you don't have to make that for your family. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your family.
But the argument is whether the child should make the decision.
But the child is never making the decision. The parents are always making the decision. Parents consent to medical care.
Well, here in California, you're allowed to hide it from the parents if the kid it's...
Yes.
Thank you, one person who knows that.
But I mean...
Somebody knows that is the case.
I think in the vast majority, and we've been hearing from parents right now whose kids' medical care has been interrupted. I think there's a way to talk about...
Well, of course, they would say it's not medical care. They would say it's disfiguring a child.
I think they should mind their own business. I really do. I think they should mind their own business. And I think that's true about a lot of things. I think there is this sense in which there was this sort of backlash politics, some of which I understood, some of which people I know felt that way. I don't think what people wanted was for the women CIA agents at the CIA to be told that they can't get together once a month to like celebrate former women spies. I just don't, I think like fundamental parts of what we call in this country the traditions of pluralism, which is what this country is. And pluralism is another word for diversity. If we're not going to use that one, let's use pluralism. That fundamentally there's a majority that understands that like we all come from different places. Yeah. And part of what makes this country work is we acknowledge and we negotiate those differences. And that's a thing that I think Democrats can win back a majority at messaging.
Well, that's one way to go. I guess you're just going to double down on one of the reasons that Democrats lost the election. And you know, Chris, some parents decide it's a good idea to beat the shit out of their kids too. But I'm just like you. I just stay out of it. I mean, it's not my business. Isn't it funny how the Democrats want government interfering in every single facet of your life? But no, not this one. Doesn't it seem like this is just a way for guys like him to be able to sit on the fence and not take a side? Because dummy here really doesn't have to take a position. Okay, you want people to stay out of it, but is it wrong or not? Surely you have a moral compass that allows you to decipher between good and evil. Wait, you work for MSNBC. What am I saying? Boy, do I have egg on my face. Such a silly goose. If there are parents out there stupid enough to think that giving their kids puberty blockers, hormones, butchering their bodies is a good thing, they aren't qualified to make that decision. This is a mental illness. If your child believes with all of their heart that they have 10 different personalities, would you indulge them in the same way? But I'm grateful for conversations like these because they make me feel zero guilt for making fun of these a-holes. These people are either evil down to their core, or they're so indoctrinated into the left-wing culture that they've lost the ability to discern good from evil. Medical care, as you described it, in my layperson interpretation, would suggest that if you follow a set course of medical procedures, medications, exercises, etc., it will save a person's life, prevent a condition from getting worse, or enhance somebody's quality of life. There's zero evidence to back up that any of these courses of action fall into any of those categories. I argue that these treatments add problems to a child's life and will make it significantly more difficult for a multitude of reasons. All right, we've spent plenty of time on him, certainly more than he deserved. Moving on to the next clip. Bill Maher recently had Representative Byron Donalds and ex-Politico chief national correspondent Tara Palmieri on his show. The three discussed the Trump White House's revamped media room, as well as, and I'm serious on this, the looks of Trump's staff compared to the previous administration. Let's see how this goes.
What do you think of the Trump White House admitting more influencers and podcasters into the press corps? Yeah, the press room is different. I mean, it reflects America.
I think it's great.
Yeah, you do.
But it's mostly right-wing influencers and podcasters, obviously, but I think it's a good step. I mean, this is how people are getting their news.
It is. I mean, how can you deny it?
I was actually over there the other day, and it's packed in there. And I think even all the reporters, whether you're Legacy or the podcasting people, they're all happy. And then they have like the one rotating chair, which I guess is pretty cool. So there's always like somebody new that comes in.
So this is you're at the White House, you're talking about?
Yeah.
But it was Axios that they gave the new media seat to, and that is to Mike Allen, who is like an established reporter in Washington. Axios has been around for like 5 years, sold for $500 million. I don't really consider it new media, and I thought it was interesting that that was their first new media.
It is new media, because old media sells for $1.
That is true.
What do you mean by that?
Well, that's what Bezos bought the Washington Post for. He bought it for like $1, didn't he? So, you know, the new stuff.
That's because he's worth like $500 billion. So it was,
It's all relative.
But I'm interested in this. You're at the White House. What, were you just hanging around?
I know some people over there, you know.
Like and subscribe.
No, I'm asking. You're like, you have that kind of carte blanche? You can just walk?
No, I was there for, I think it was an education event that the president did. And a lot of the staff I know from the campaign trail.
Right.
So walking in there, it was like I was on the campaign trail. So everybody's just saying hello, hugging. Let me show you my office. So I was kind of walking around. Got a chance to see the press room. They go, stand at the podium. I'm like, no. I'm not going to do that.
Give them 4 more years, right?
Well, then maybe you can answer this one. Has Mar-a-Lago culture, it's actually addressed to you, come to D.C.? Are the cruel kids popular?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the aesthetic of Mar-a-Lago and the people around Donald Trump, they haven't even just changed D.C., they changed Palm Beach. It's like the long platinum blonde hair, the big eyelashes, the buccal fat removal, the lip filler. They look like Kristi Noem. Or, I don't know.
Sounds like Hollywood.
Lara Trump. Yeah, it's a look. It's very Kim Guilfoyle. And actually, in Palm Beach, they're calling it like the Mar-a-Lago look, and they're asking plastic surgeons for it. It's only a matter of time before it comes to D.C., and everybody's looking like that. In tight red dresses, you know.
I'm getting excited.
So I think it's great that they're including what they consider new media in the White House press room. But what I love most about it is that the right wing has done what the left tried so hard and desperately to do by manufacturing influencers and paying them like 12-year-olds like Harry Sisson and other forgettables with scripted talking points. But Trump just says, you know what? You're all welcome in here. You know, like Byron Donald said, it was packed in there. Because unlike the last administration, his actually has nothing to hide. And I'm not exaggerating when I say the left tried to manufacture a space for themselves in the online political commentary space. It spent like $1 million or something recreating the Call Her Daddy set so it could fit perfectly for Kamala. They needed full editorial control for the interview with Joe Rogan, which they never did. They wanted to minimize the interview with Joe Rogan down to like 45 minutes after Trump had been there unedited for 3 hours straight. And finally, did that lady on there say that it's only a matter of time before plastic surgery comes to DC? I've got news for you, honey. It's been in DC for a long time. You don't get the model-esque looks of a Pelosi with having a little bit of work done. This is actually a fun fact. Nancy Pelosi is 106 years old. If she hadn't had daily cosmetic procedures done for the last 40 years, she'd look like the Crypt Keeper right now. And if you think Kamala Harris and Joe Biden didn't have cosmetic surgeries, you've lost your mind. By the end of his term, Joe Biden looked like the bad guy from Guardians of the Galaxy 3, just like a skull with a bunch of skin stretched over it. But what do you guys think about Chris Hayes' take on transitioning children and just staying out of it? What do you think about the White House's new press room? And how do you think, looks-wise, the last administration and the current administration compare? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you like watching liberals like Chris Hayes just talk out of their ass and make ridiculous statements, then click on one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. Or you can go to my channel page, and I have tons of playlists of your favorite libtards getting ripped on. So check that out as well. Otherwise, as always, I've got the best viewers in the world, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate you just taking a couple minutes out of your day to watch my video. It means the world to me. See you guys.